about your freshman and sophomore year. You were still pretty shy. You didn't really have those skills that you needed. You weren't a real strong advocate, and it was your junior year when things really clicked. And Sawyer, that's not unusual for any student. And sometimes for a lot, that's why college is so important for young people, because it helps you have those experiences and gradually build the skills you need in order to set your dreams in place and then move towards them.
Show. Next guest here is Millie Morningstar from TCIO. Tell us, Morningstar, can you tell the viewers a little bit about what you do?
Sure. Thanks, Sawyer. It's great to be here. I am the director of the Career and Community Studies program. When Sawyer refers to TCIO, that's talking about the grant we used to have, which stands for Think College Inclusion Oregon. And that grant ended about 2 years ago. And so now, Sawyer, we just refer to our program as CCS.
Yeah.
So just letting you know that. And so it is a program for students with intellectual and developmental disability. And we support them to be fully included in college at Portland State.
Yeah, that's awesome. So yeah, I knew that. I was just giving
no
them
problem.
What it was, and now I'm gonna say what it is. So yeah, like she said,
You're one of the old timers, Sawyer.
Yeah, it is CCS now.
Yeah.
So
I am the director of CCS, and we have a couple of staff who I work with who actually support students. So my actual work is more of the keeping the program going and doing supervision, but our program is designed to individually support students with intellectual and developmental disability at Portland State.
That's awesome. Yeah, and obviously it's a great program to be a part of, and obviously what are the expectations at the CCS about the CCS program?
Oh, that's a great question, Sawyer. So what we expect all of our students to do, and we usually have about, like right now we have 13 students in the program. So we have anywhere from about 12 to 15 students across 4 years. So we expect students to attend our program for 4 years. And during their time, we expect them to enroll in classes on campus, 9 hours of classes each term. And we also expect them to be working on career development and having a paid job, either on campus or off campus. And we also expect them to be engaged and involved in campus life.
So, to kind of piggyback off that question, if you don't mind, so how does the you kind of spoke on the program expectations, but how does it kind of vary, or if not the same, from sort of the normal college kit, sort of like PSU's expectations, I guess?
Oh, that's a great question. Yes, it is different. We spend particularly the academics. We modify the learning, both sometimes the assignments or the readings. We might turn a 10-page paper into a PowerPoint presentation that students would give. And so because of that, because we support the student and modify the learning that takes place, students are enrolled as non-degree seeking students. So that's a big difference than the typical student. they are they're considered full PSU students. So they pay tuition and they pay all the fees, but the main difference is that we substantially change some of the requirements in a class, and then we provide a lot of support to help the student be successful in that class. So that's how it's different.
How could people who are neurodivergent benefit from this program?
Oh, yes. We do have a lot of students in the program who have neurodiversity, and they benefit often by, first of all, they're able to continue their academic education like any 18, 19, 20, 21-year-old, even older. So it allows students with neurodiversity to participate and engage academically to the degree that we can support them. It also helps students in the program develop a career pathway so that they can start taking classes that align with their career goals. And in this way, then students graduate with more than just a entry-level job. They really can think about having a range of opportunities and experiences and jobs that lead to a career pathway. So they have a direction they're headed in when they exit our program. If I can keep talking, Sawyer, the last thing, and this is new since you graduated from the program, but we also have started what's called executive functioning coaching. And so we have somebody on staff who provides one-on-one coaching to students around skills like time management, organization, social communication, how to write a good email, how not to over-text someone, so those skills are critical. They're critical, particularly for students who are neurodiverse, and they're important for all students. And so that added emphasis on executive functioning will really help our students to grow. And those same time management skills, right now it might be around a class assignment, but in the future it could relate directly to a job or making social connections. So it's a really important addition that we now offer.
So a side question off what you just said about job coaching, I think is an amazing idea to help get people out in the community. So will it kind of be like job coaches / providers too? Sort of like, I guess my question would be, would it be like providers or sort of like, okay, these job coaches do this, but providers to help like them like interact more in the community and stuff like that?
Yes, well, the way that we have, first of all, for job coaches, we partner with an employment agency. So we partner with an agency called Trellis Incorporated, and they provide all the employment services for our students, both on campus and then in the community when they graduate. So that's how we provide job coaching and job development and the range employment path. So the types of services that are available while they're in our program, and then what they need after. In terms of social engagement, we work with, while students are at Portland State, to build that social network. So we use peer navigators who are undergraduate students at Portland State. A little bit different than when you were at Portland State, Sawyer. Now we use undergraduate special education majors. And so they're getting the opportunity to help facilitate social interactions for students as a part of their coursework and a part of their special education program. We also work with, you had mentioned providers. So When both students may have already be receiving personal support providers, either before they get to our program or as they're leaving, and we collaborate with them to help with their social integration.
What are some of the challenges you guys face as a program?
That's a really good question. I think our number one challenge right now is funding. So Sawyer, I am hoping that we can use this conversation to help inform the rest of the state about our program. We're the only inclusive post-secondary ed program for students with intellectual and developmental disability, those who are neurodiverse. And because of that, we're not able to expand and impact a lot of students. So we're working really hard right now with the state legislature. And recently a state senator proposed a bill to continue to support Portland State and also to expand to community college. Because we think community colleges, a lot of students go to community college, and we'd really like to see that sort of affordable model at a community college, and then students could transfer to Portland State. So we're going to need lots of advocacy and support in the next 6 months in order to get the state legislation passed that would authorize our ongoing financial support and to expand services.
That is so cool. Obviously, that's really awesome to see that. Yes, I'm gonna try to get this interview to help get us as much funding as we can. But kind of question 5, kind of tapping into what you just said. Is there possibility that maybe like we could get this self-funded through Portland State?
That's a really good, tricky question, and it's a tricky process. I don't think it will ever be fully supported by Portland State. I think they support me in my time and salary. They support students because of the credit hours we produce. Voc Rehab and DD Services supports the employment and executive functioning coaching that we're doing on campus. And I think the legislation that, if it's passed, that would support the academic inclusion on campus and to the expansion to community college. But I don't think Portland State, right now, they're not supporting all the elements of the program. And I think down the road, it would be hard for them to pick up some of those other pieces.
Yeah, so like I want to kind of mention what you said earlier about, so just to get the viewers on board. When you said about community college, so basically what you're thinking is, and correct me if I'm wrong, basically to get the funding kind of like a mini CCS model at the community colleges, and then once they go, so they have like a practice one for it, and then once they get familiar with it, then they can apply to Portland State.
Yeah, that's exactly right, Sawyer. You hit it on the head, the nail on the head. We can see that doing 2 years, a lot of Portland State students transfer from community colleges, the typical students. So what we'd like to do is set up a similar model where students could go to a community college for 2 years and receive a similar type program, inclusive academics, employment, and social integration. And then for some students, they might, like they do at a community college now, they might exit with a certificate from the community college and go right to work. Or they could continue to get educational benefit by transferring as juniors, incoming juniors, to Portland State. And then they would spend 2 more years with the CCS program. So it would be a community college type CCS program. And then some students would want to transfer to Portland State to continue their education.
Yeah, I really love that idea, honestly. That would have actually personally benefited me coming in. So that would in the beginning. So I really, really, really love that. So trying to hopefully we can try to make that happen. Sort of question 6 and kind of go to the top a little bit. How do you get involved with I guess the college?
So Think College is a national organization. And so it's been around for about 10 years, and it supports all of the programs across the country like CCS. So I think when the grant was written, I was not here at Portland State. I was at another university, and I had started a similar program there. And so I know about Think College, the national organization, for many years. Coming to Portland State was when the former director retired. And so when the position came open, I really wanted to move to Portland. And so I was lucky enough to get the position. And that was about 4 years ago. So I've been here for about 4 years.
That's so awesome, obviously, helping out. So question 7, tell us a little bit about some of the program's success stories, sort of with how sort of past students and students now, obviously, that are in the program, how well they have done, and sort of tell the viewer stories about past and new people now, how well they have done in and out of the program.
Well, I'd like to start and say a few things, but then Sawyer, I'd love for you to say a few things about your success as a graduate of the program. What I can tell you is that students who come through our program, I'd say I think it's 87%, so almost 90% of our current students are working, which is a really high number in paid employment, which is a really high number for students between the ages of 18 and 26 with an intellectual disability. So we have a really good employment record that continues post-program. So I think right now we're up to about like 85 or 86% of our graduates have found competitive integrated employment at the end of their when they graduate from CCS, which is also a really substantial number. Many are doing jobs in careers. They're launched into careers of their choice. I do think about you in sports, so you could talk a little bit about that. But, there's another student who graduated 2 years ago, and she was always involved in the arts here at Portland State, choir, art classes, and she's now working for the city of Portland with some of the art classes that are offered. And so she's considered an instructional assistant working within some of the art classes. So that's pretty cool. And I'd love for you to tell a little bit about your success since you've graduated.
So since I graduated, because when I came in, I'm not gonna lie, my freshman and sophomore year, I was a little bit shy. Shy, had some issues coming in with learning how to be more on time with schedule and everything. My junior year, I think, is when it mentally changed for me because my self-confidence went straight through the roof. And that's what really this program, I think, does for people, especially me, because I think it helps get people to the jobs and it helps the people achieve the dreams that they want to achieve moving forward. And for me personally, I obviously loved sports and wanted to do something with sports, and so that's why right now I work at Nike. I'm trying to work hopefully full time in the future. But it was a really good job. Job for me right now because I get to work consistently behind the scenes. Because I was the athlete in high school, but I never saw the behind the scenes and how it worked. And so that's so cool to be a part of. So for me personally, this program, like many others too, helped me really achieve the dreams I wanted. It kind of
Mhm.
focused for, okay, these are kind of broke it down. Okay, this is what I want to do, and then the program kind of helped me with well, put blocks to get there, and also it helped me. It's by being a part of the documentary, obviously, which was really cool, and also I start this channel because I want to raise a ton of awareness and help the industry. That kind of helped me in a
Mhm.
way, and also help get this program, in my opinion, to the level of funding that could be at. Because I think in the future, this program, I think with more wellness, could get to a point where we could get some. It could be financially so we won't need the grant. I think in the future we'll have enough money, and now we'll be like, and we'll have more
Mhm.
support. We'll be like, okay, basically we can get more students and everything. And also, one little question I was just wondering is the program going to consider? Is it going to just stay like people in Portland, or is there going to be more in it? Is it going to be like a U.S. sort of like type of thing?
There are programs similar to ours all over the country. So there are already probably over 300 different types of post-secondary ed programs. Not all of them are as fully inclusive as ours. There's only a handful that really take inclusion to the full level, like Portland State. Many of the other ones are much more segregated, which is a shame. Um, but there's something I just want to go back and say. I think about, didn't you participate in the Unified Sports
Yeah,
League
the Unified
on
Sports
campus?
League on campus.
Hmm.
Yeah, I was one of the leaders of Portland State
Yep.
Unified Sports team, and that's just what my junior senior year really helped because it was like kind of a light at the end of the tunnel. I knew that okay, I'm probably gonna graduate. There's a chance that like I could actually do something like for the first time, like coming for the program, it really gave me and my
Hmm.
mom the hope that okay, people are on our side for the first time. We actually are being told yes for the first time. It
Yes.
was like people actually want to see me succeed. So I think that is a good thing that
Yes.
that I think that people who may be watching this and may have a kid who's kind of shy and stuff, the program is really good because you'll be there and you'll be like, wait, these people actually they're on my side. So it will help. It helps obviously the kid in the parent move forward. And so I think, like I said, it's a wonderful program, and hopefully in the future we can get to where it needs to go.
Yeah, me too. I plan to keep it alive. It's too much fun and it's too important for young people. Now, going back to are we going to expand? My dream is that all the universities in Oregon have a program like CCS. And then the community colleges, their feeder community colleges, can also have similar inclusive programs. So my dream is that Portland State not remain the only one in the state, that we're able to really support growth, so that families and young adults have choice. And, we have our first student, Sawyer, who moved here from Clackamas Falls, Klamath Falls,
That's
my
awesome.
apologies. So that was a pretty huge step for her to move from a really small town to an urban setting. But and it's going really well, and she should have that choice to come to Portland State. But if there's a closer university or community college for the others in Klamath Falls and that surrounding area, then I think we want to be able to build that. So
Yes, I
my
agree.
dream would be that we have many more inclusive post-secondary ed programs in Oregon.
Yes, I agree. So kind of what you're saying is kind of like it's kind of or kind of team or not kind of team up with Oregon State, Oregon in a situation
Yep.
that okay, like sort of like okay, we have this kid that so we have somebody okay would we think would be better at PSU. We have somebody who's coming through the door, but we think would be better at Oregon. We kind of
Mm-hmm.
can kind of
Yep.
like we forward them to this place, sort of to where we can help everybody and sort of but we have the programs put and what is wanted like wherever you live in the state so you can have all these different programs. Yeah, I totally agree with that.
Yeah. That's my goal. And this legislation is important because it will help us get there. It'll be a first step to expanding to other post-secondary ed settings in Oregon.
If we have the politicians on board, obviously it would really help our industry dramatically because that's who we need. We kind of need a piece, not just for CCS, but the entire industry as a whole. So it's just naturally for me to say TCIO. So it's just.
I know, it's okay. It's okay. No problem.
Thank you so much for being a part of this Morning Star. If you guys like this interview, please hit the like subscribe button. Thank you so much for being a part of it.
Thanks, Sawyer. I really appreciate it.
Yeah,
send me the link when you're done so I can post it.
No problem.
Okay.
Hopefully we can get this to where it needs to go. Okay, bye.
I really appreciate it. Thanks so much.
You're welcome. Bye.